It was in the summer. It was nice weather that I was driving there. So I may have gone to her the following summer, because I can't imagine that I would have had the forethought and the idea to go to counseling right away. But maybe I did. Maybe it was either summer or fall. It was there was no snow on the ground yet. So it could have been fall, since especially Oregon has extended sometimes summers and what they call Indian summers or falls and whatever. So she at one point did say, I think maybe you're depressed, and I said, no, I'm not, because she was just, you're crying. And then she asked me if she could videotape me while I was talking to her, and I said no. I said why. I asked why first, and she said that she wanted to have it for her supervisor, for this person that would watch it. And I just thought, why would they want to videotape me? Like, document me? I mean, here I am now, and I'm videotaping myself, but it's probably 10 years, or, 8 years after that situation where she's asking to videotape me. And the only reason I am documenting myself at this point is because I'm being tortured, because I've been tortured for over 7 years on an extreme level, and because my son has been tortured and taken away from me and kidnapped, because there are enormous crimes that have been committed in this country. So finally, after 8 years, it's amazing that I've waited 8 years to do this. But do I consider myself a private person? I do, and why would I share all this with you and put my thoughts out there? But I'm trying to explain for those who might be in another country. And who might be in this country. I am trying to explain what desperate levels somebody is brought to, and how degraded this country has made me feel, to the point where I am putting up these videos of myself. Do I think this is fun? No. Do I want to be making these video clips? No. Do I think it's amusing? And am I having fun playing with my makeup and hair? And what kind of head thing I put over my head to try to be more conservative so that some people can watch this? No. When I went for a walk, yesterday, after making some video clips and talking about the torture that was done to me, my son, in childbirth, and how I was defamed, and some of the things that were being done to my son. When I walked by, and I saw a lot of people who looked like they were in great moods and laughing, and I thought, like, I do understand. Like, I've laughed and made some jokes and tried to use a little humor while I'm making these video clips. And I sound very nonchalant, I'm sure, sometimes. But the seriousness of the situation can't be ignored. And I didn't feel like laughing or smiling a lot. When I was walking past all of these people driving by who are not being tortured, and who instead find it a game to act like nothing's wrong and follow my movements and where I go and what I do, and And yet, how much effort are they putting into working at getting evidence to people who can basically liberate me, my son, and my family? Because we need to be liberated. We have been tortured. We are being tortured. And in every sense of the word, it's been like being a prisoner and living in a concentration camp without barbed wire. So, I mean, I don't judge every single person that is in a cheerful, happy mood that's driving by waving at me and smiling and whatever. It's, I have my shockingly carefree moments in the midst of torture as well. I'm sure that people who are in concentration camps and prisons even sometimes try to joke with each other and make jokes and laugh. And what is that like? That stark contrast of a couple people joking with each other when they're starving and emaciated and, you know, how many people get put on some kind of an electrocution machine, and then after being electrocuted for so long, they get thrown into a room with a bunch of other people who are electrocuted, and then they start making a couple of jokes with each other. Most people who would see something like that probably think they're either cracking up or if someone didn't know how badly they had been electrocuted and were being tortured on a regular basis, they might think, well, they don't act like anything's really that bad. And really, humor is a survival mechanism. So it really doesn't matter how badly somebody is tortured or not. I mean, right in the middle of the worst forms of torture where you can't even speak or anything. I mean, clearly you're not going to make a joke. But so if I'm being severely tortured for 7 weeks and I can't even speak, or I have nothing good to say, really, I'm trying to survive, and then I have a 1 week of not being tortured, and I come out of my shell a little bit and I try to make a few jokes and I act like nothing's wrong, and that's when people see me, is when it looks like nothing's wrong. Does that invalidate the 7 weeks of torture that I had prior to that point? It doesn't. The fact that somebody can laugh about something after being tortured is simply a coping mechanism and nothing else. So when I say that my family needs to be liberated, I am not joking. I am dead serious. When I say that my son has been tortured and kidnapped from me, it's nothing to laugh about. So, trying to explain the reactions of people who are being tortured. And not just tortured for research, because I look at when I've been tortured and it hasn't been done with, a methodical plan and research and experimentation. It's been done out of hate. Other people have tried to make it look like it has something to do with research, and that's the excuse they've been using all along. But it really has more to do with hatred. I mean, we're talking about snarling, frothing at the mouth, ravenous wolf-like hatred